All right, welcome to the next video series. In this series, what we're going to do is we're going to start taking our video game experience to literally a completely and totally different level. So far, what we've worked on is we've worked on the look of the game. We've focused on creating materials and getting things organized and creating grass and buildings and all kinds of great stuff like that, which, by the way, is super valid, because if you don't have the artistic side of our game, then you realistically don't have much of a game at all. But in this series, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the artistic stuff and we're going to take it so much further, because creating buildings and balls and stuff that rolls and physics, all that's amazing, but we still don't have a game. The reason why we don't have a game is we don't have any level of interactivity. That ball has physics on it and it drops down and it rolls, but from there we can't control its movement. We can't control anything else in the game. And the reason why we can't do any of that is because we have not included any programming, any scripting, any coding. Programming, scripting, and coding is all the same thing. It is what makes the game playable. It's what makes the game interactive. It's what makes the game a game. Otherwise, honestly, we're just watching a simulation or a movie or a short little clip. And so in this series, we're going to introduce you guys to scripting. We're not going to go super deep. In fact, we're barely going to scratch the surface on the possibilities and the potential of what you can do with programming and scripting. And this is just an absolutely beautiful little beginner couple lessons. It's going to kind of introduce you to the ideas behind scripting, show you how things begin to work. And then much later, we'll get more specific about scripting. We'll get more specific about programming, and you'll truly begin to build an interactive game. Now, one of the beauties about Unity is their developer community. And the developer community is absolutely an amazing thing, because the developer community a lot of times has already developed a lot of the scripting that you need. So if you need player controls and you don't know how to build the scripts yourself, you can go online into the the Unity asset store, and there's a lot of scripts there's a handful of scripts that you can get that are free. And then there are some really beautifully polished scripts that you can use on your characters, but it's going to set you back a couple bucks. And it depends on how much you want to spend and how much level of functionality that you wanted within your character. So apart from the Unity asset store and being able to use other people's scripting, being able to do your own scripting absolutely unlocks the door to building video games. And so this small series, this introduction to scripting, is going to be absolutely priceless if you really want to become a video game developer. All right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to the program and let's get some stuff started. All right, so one of the things that I've done is you'll notice I do not have the little camera of me down here in the bottom corner. The reason why is because we're going to be using the inspector quite a bit today. We're going to be using it in this lesson, and so I don't want my little camera shot to overshadow anything else we've got going on. Also, the next thing that I've done is we are working in our previous file. So this file is the one that I originally built for the last lesson, The Floor is Lava, where I put my name into it. And so feel free to use any pre-existing file that you already have. You don't have to go in and clean things up. You don't have to delete things out. Honestly, none of that is super important at this point in time, because what we're going to be doing in this lesson is not going to be a whole lot inside of Unity. We're going to be using another program called Microsoft Visual Studios, and that's where most of our work for this lesson is going to be done. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to right click, and we're going to go create empty. So we're going to create an empty game object, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it game object. That's no big deal. And over here inside of our empty game object, you'll see that everything is as clean as can be. There's no extra little components on here or anything else like that. And so it's a really, really nice way just to kind of work within the program. Okay. You guys have seen empty game objects earlier on when we were doing some organization. Now, let's say, for example, this empty game object, I want to put some scripting on it, which, by the way, anything inside our window, you can put scripting on. It doesn't really matter what it is that you need scripting on. You can click on it and you can come right over here and you can add a component. And I'm going to go back to my empty game object and I'm going to click add component. Now from the add component, we can scroll all the way down and you'll see right here where it says new script. Now, when I click new script, this is absolutely key, crucial, and important. You will notice right now that it says new behavior script. This is the only opportunity that we get to name this script. So when we go in and we name this script, when we create this script by coming down here and clicking on new script, we get one chance to do this. And if we mess it up, then we have to delete that script and recreate it. I'm going to be calling this script, we're going to call it Hello World, because Hello World is always the name of generally the first program that anybody ever builds inside of any scripting or programming environment. It's always the first assignment. It's pretty much like the go-to default. All right, so Hello World, I'm going to go ahead and click create and add. And so now you can see the component has been added here. The name of the script is Hello World. This will carry over into our scripting engine that we're going to be working with here in just a couple seconds. And so we have this basic script. Also, we have this script listed right down here in the assets, which allows us to go in and I'm going to go create folder and I'm going to type in scripting or scripts. And I'm going to go ahead and grab that Hello World script and I'm going to drag and drop it into our folder. So if I want to get access to it, I just double click on the scripting folder, the scripts folder, and all of my programming, all of my coding can live here. All right. Now, before we actually go in and open this script up, which by the way, I can single click on it. That's just one click. Not a double. I'll show you what happens when we do a double here in just a couple seconds. When we single click on this, it will pull up the actual code right here in Unity and show you everything that's already in there. So if you just need to double check on something, you want to make sure that you're working with the right script, you can just single click on it and it'll pull up right here inside of Unity. You can see everything that we've got going on in here. But we're going to talk about each one of these individual groupings, what this stuff up here means. We're going to talk about what this one here is, this public class named Hello World. That's a mono behavior. We're going to talk about our start void function, our update void function. We're going to talk about all these little lines here in just a matter of moments. Now, here's the thing. Don't freak out when you look at this kind of scripting. I'll tell you, when the first time I opened up a script like this, I just looked at it and I had no clue what in the world that I was looking at. It can be very intimidating, very scary, because you're like, I don't want to mess anything up. But once I get done just walking you through this script, hopefully you will have a better understanding of everything that's happening in here. And as you have a better understanding of everything that's happening in here, you can know how to interact with this script. Okay. It's really not tremendously difficult, but at first, when you first started working with this kind of stuff, it feels like a huge challenge. Okay. So just take a breath. It's going to be okay. Now, before we can open up this script in our IDE or our programming engine, one of the things that I want to do is I want to come right over here and I'm going to go edit preferences. And when I click preferences, we are going to look for external tools, because Unity does a lot of great things, but it needs other programs to come alongside and take care of the stuff that it does not do. So one of the things that it does not do is it does not do the programming stuff. It really doesn't do it at all. So we need to define what external tool we are going to use to build our scripts. And what we're going to use is we're going to use Microsoft Visual Studios. Use whatever version you have on your computer. If this is not selected, you can click this little triangle over here and you can go to Microsoft Visual Studios. It will list it. If it doesn't list it, then generally your program is not loaded on your computer. And that would be a problem that we need to get fixed. All right. And I don't generally go over installation in any of my videos. There are a million little videos out there on YouTube and learn.unity.com that shows you how to install everything that you need to know how to install. I can tell you one of the reasons why I'm even showing you this window is when I opened up my program today, I went in and I tried to open up this program and it did nothing at all whatsoever. And I was like, what is going on? And so I finally came over here into external tools. And when I went to external tools and edit preferences, I discovered that Microsoft Visual Studios was not selected. It had like some internal editor or something within Unity. And so literally I was not going to be able to change the script at all. So I finally changed this to Microsoft Visual Studios, and now it works just like it's supposed to. All right, there's no saving mechanism here. We can scroll down, we can scroll up, whatever else like that, but there's no like clicking OK or whatever. When I set this to Microsoft Visual Studios, I just close that window. And now what we can do is I can come over and I can double click on this script. Double clicking it now will pull up Microsoft Visual Studios. And as it pulls up Microsoft Visual Studios, everything that we saw in Unity, all of this script right here automatically pulls up in Visual Studios. You'll notice it says we have 3 usings, we have the public class, we have start, and we have update. Let's go check Visual Studios. And you'll see the same thing. We have our 3 usings, we have our class, we have void start, and we have void update. So legitimately, Microsoft Visual Studios is just the engine where we get to go in and we get to interact with the script itself. We get to program in here, double check it in here, work at any problems and bugs that we might have accidentally created or that it's accidentally created. This is where we go in and we do all of our scripting. Now, Microsoft Visual Studios is called an IDE, the letter I, the letter D, and the letter E, and that's short for Integrated Development Environment. So what is an integrated development environment? Well, an integrated develop environment is basically like Unity is the video game engine where we build our video game. An IDE is the programming engine. It is where we get all of our programming done. It's where we get everything accomplished in there. And then once we get it all developed there, then we bring it back into Unity. And when we bring it back into Unity, it then works inside of Unity. Just imagine it like this. We have Unity, which is the brains. And then this is the brains. This is the guy in charge. And I need Maya to get my animation done. And I need this program to do that. And I need Microsoft Visual Studios to do this. And so we have, from our single core, we have all these little programs that come off of it from there. Well, Microsoft Visual Studios is the IDE. It's where we do all of our programming. And that's basically all an IDE is. It's just the area where we do all of our programming. All right, so as we're back here in our IDE, we're back in Microsoft Visual Studios, you'll notice a couple of things. First of all, there's a lot of colors on here. One of the colors that is in here right now is on these 2 usings. You'll notice that they're kind of muted colors, and that's because we're currently not using them. They're not active at all. So we could go ahead and delete them out of there. I'm not going to. I mean, why delete stuff that's already good in there? But I just wanted to let you know why this is differently colored than this. The blue is brighter, and instead of gray, it's an absolute black. Okay. All the rest of this down here is all in bright colors, except for the little notes. You'll see Unity script right here has 0 references. Udemy message. We have 0 references and so on and so forth. So these are just little hints for us. All right. So before we get much deeper into our program, before we start actually doing some things, we've got basically a program set up. Not only do we have a program set up, we've got it working with Unity, and we have Unity working with Microsoft Visual Studios. This is an absolutely excellent place to just call this video good. And we are going to move into the next video. And in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to actually start working on that script. I would like to just take just a couple of moments to kind of describe what we have going on in that program so that you understand what you're looking at. And so we will do all of that in the next video. We'll see you there.